I'm not wearing a mask. It shows that I trust my president.
CBS News Brief, I'm Wendy Gillette.
Skol Vikings, let's win this game. Skol Vikings, honor your name.
Well, it's not like I can play the Packer polka when we have Greg Coleman on.
No way. KF Joe time, 7:39. The KF Joe Morning Crew, Doug Leier, Bonnie Amistadi. We are joined by Minnesota Vikings sideline reporter, post-game, pre-game preach is what we need, and we need the positivity of Greg Coleman on a Monday morning. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
You got it, guys. How are you this morning?
Good.
We'd be doing better. We know. We're going to jump. Let's dig into it, Greg. What happened yesterday?
We got beat. Just plain and simple. Green Bay made more plays than we did. And if you listened or watched the game, when your defense is on the field almost 40 minutes out of a 60-minute game, that means that Aaron Rodgers controlled the narrative. We didn't get any pressure on him for the most part. He picked on and picked apart our young corners, and that's what a veteran quarterback, that's what you do. If you have a weakness, if you've discovered a weakness, what appears to be a weakness, in a young secondary, you go after them, and that's exactly what he did. This is not an indictment against rookies, but that's why Bud Grant very rarely played rookies, because they're prone to make mistakes. Sometimes the lights of the big stage are too big for them. But in their defense, people talk about what we've lost over the last year with Xavier Rhodes and Mackenzie Alexander and Trey Waynes. When they came to this team years ago, they were rookies too, and they had to be baptized by fire. That's the only way that you're going to learn. That's the only way. Every All-Pro, every Hall of Famer, one day was a rookie. So I'm not saying that this is the end of the world. It's not. It's one game. These guys are going to learn from it. They're going to get some more experience, and they're going to become a vital part of this Viking defense.
But are they going to learn enough that it's going to be a good team with this defensive line as the season goes on, Greg?
I think the line is going to improve as well. Listen, yesterday was almost like for me, a exhibition game or a preseason game, because this was the first time that you had the opportunity to hit somebody else. I don't care how much you run, how much you go on treadmill and lift weights. The only thing that's going to get you in game shape are games. And Green Bay was ahead of the curve for us in terms of game-type situations. There was some poor tackling. There was some poor execution, especially on the defensive part. And let's face it, you missed Emil Hunter. There's no doubt about it. You miss Ev. Ev is in Dallas. Those things are history. When you can't get Rodgers off the dime, make sure that he's contained, and that's what some of the guys, that's what Daniil and that's what Everson did so well. I guarantee you Mike Zimmer has the attention of his football team this week. It's not going to get any easier, because they go against another great quarterback, future Hall of Fame quarterback, in Phillip Rivers, who can throw the ball extremely well, gets the ball out of his hands very quickly. So on the defensive side, they've got to get some work done. Offensive side, they've got to, execute a little bit better.
Minnesota Vikings Greg Coleman joining us on the KF Joe Morning Crew, breaking down yesterday's game. I think it was in the post game, maybe it was in the interview with Anthony Harris, that you brought up a point about Aaron Rodgers without the crowd noise and being able to go with that cadence that I think maybe generated at least two, maybe three.
It was three. It was three offsides. Absolutely.
How big was that throughout the entire game, Greg?
It was huge. It was huge. Listen, without the home field advantage, without fans in the stands, without Purple Nation, some of the smartest fans in the National Football League, because I've been to every stadium here, we've got some very smart fans. And missing that component of playing Green Bay at home opening day, I don't think you can underscore the importance of the fans not being in U.S. Bank Stadium yesterday.
Greg, You mentioned time of possession, so we turn to the offensive side of the ball. You look at the stats, you look at Adam Thielen, look at a couple of touchdowns for Dalvin Cook, but only holding the ball for like 18 minutes. What was wrong on the offensive side of the ball, Greg?
Well, I think execution. People talk about the interception was a critical play. I think after we stopped them on the goal line, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and we come back, we run one play, and then we go for a play action pass, and we are sacked with a safety. I think that was a turning point because it was the entire sideline was at an all-time high. Even if we don't go and score, you held them, you made a statement. But right there, you make a call, and I don't know if it's coaches have a chart that they're gonna we're gonna run these plays, 25 plays regardless. I don't know if that was one of the plays that was charted, but I would have chosen not to do a play action pass. I would have gone because you hadn't established a running game yet, especially backed up on the goal line. That's just my point. That's it. It's a gambling. It's a game of chances. We took a chance. We lost. I think that turned the game around for us.
Yeah, you would think it would have been more evenly matched too when you have two veteran quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, you do, but again, when you give Rodgers the upper hand, when you don't put pressure on him, and he is most dangerous out of the pocket as well. I mean, listen, he's one of the best to ever play the game, so you can't give him any advantage, give him any edge, give him any extra time. Sometimes he had 3, 4, 5 seconds to. It was like, schoolyard football. Okay, no, I don't like this one. You go the other way. No. Okay, let me see. Let me file my nails. And listen, I am not slamming our defense because they played their butts off. I think they were on the field just a little bit too long. Aaron Rodgers and that Packer offense wore them down, and as a result, we got behind too soon to dig out of a hole.
Sure. We're visiting with Greg Coleman, Vikings Radio Network. All right, we're not going to dwell on it. Let's move forward. Vikings taking on the Colts. What do we have to do to win?
Well, I think we've got to control the ball, especially at home in Indy, playing them at Indy's house. I just read a stat. Someone just posted that the Vikings have not beaten the Colts on the road in God knows when. So that's a cause for concern. If we can take advantage, like Green Bay did here, with no fans or very little fans in the stands, I guarantee you're going to see a different intensity from this football team. You're going to see a better offensive line. You're going to see more penetration by our defensive line. I think it's going to be a better game, a different game, and hopefully they'll come out of there with a win. Yeah,
hopefully, especially that defensive line. Like you said, you get that first game out of the way, maybe those first game jitters for a lot of rookies here, and we should see some improvements, I would imagine, come next Sunday.
Well, you better. I mean, because there's always hope. You may or may not have heard me say, if you lose hope this early, then you may as well pack your bags, because hope is a gasoline that fuels your faith. And if you don't have hope, then you don't have faith in the men that are dressed in purple, the coaching staff, or anybody else. It's early. It's only one game, and one game does not make a season. It's unfortunate that you lost your home opener, and it was an NFC conference game. It was a division game. So that puts you behind the Packers already. You got to dig out.
Yep.
It's time to grab your shovel and keep digging.
You bet. All right, chin up, move forward. All right, Greg, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it as usual.
All right, guys, be well.
Yep, you take care. That's Greg Coleman of the Vikings Radio Network joining us here on the Mighty 790 KFGO 94.1 on your FM